All right, what's going on? This is Dame Nicola, and I'm so excited to be here with you on today. We are going to be talking about your first million. I can tell you right now, there are so many people who are moving into millionaire status. As a matter of fact, 1,700 millionaires are created every day. And the thing is that the transfer of wealth is happening right now. Yes, during the hardest times in the economy is typically when people become massively successful if they're positioned, as well as if they have a solid foundation. Sometimes people are not ready for when opportunity knocks. And so I want you to, no matter where you are right now, to position yourself to not only say you're going to build wealth on a solid ground, we also want to get the seed, the resources that God gives us, and then we want to sow it in fertile ground. And so when we start talking about these 1,700 millionaires being created every day, I know that many of them are still not getting financial literacy. As a matter of fact, my first million, money didn't come with instructions. So I didn't know exactly what to do. However, what I did was I started to ask, seek, and knock. And I'm going to tell you something. When you start to look at what's possible, when you have people like Jay-Z, Rihanna, and Tyler Perry becoming billionaires, you got to realize that there is hope for you and your family. But I'm going to tell you something. There is a huge divide between the haves and the have-nots, and it's access. It's not what you think. It's not only you want to talk about race or color or creed. It's not only that. I want you to know that it's access. Why? Because you can literally go to places in Africa where there are kings and queens and people who have multiple billions of dollars. So that tells you that there is something missing. I have been in the room with not only millionaires, but also billionaires. And the thing is that what I realize is that they think different and they do things differently, even with the resources that they have. And this is why my passion is to connect those dots between the have and the have-nots and begin to give the everyday person like who I was, the everyday hairstylist, an opportunity. So today we're going to close the money gaps and create your foundation for your first million, right? Time out for building it, falling down, building it. That's not how you're going to think about generational wealth. As a matter of fact, yeah, things can happen. But again, there are some people that not only just survive during these downturns, they are actually thriving. But it didn't come like that for me. I was in a personal recession. You're going to hear so many different facets of my story because let me tell you something. There were definitely some Job moments, some nightmare moments, but I know that it was preparing me for such a time as this. Myself coming from a family of immigrants, divorced parents, it was so stressful in the house watching my mom have to work 2 jobs, and she decided to go to cosmetology school. She became a 6-figure earner as soon as the first year she became an entrepreneur. That the light bulb went off, and then we moved on up. We moved to another city, and then things started going down again because again, having business without the education and the resources and the access doesn't mean that it's going to do well. So my mom's salon, didn't do so well. So now I went on and I continued on to become a hairstylist, and I went to college and I was going, part-time to college, part-time to the salon. And I decided to just drop out of college and become a hairstylist full-time. And then I realized and said, you know what, there's some other things, real estate investors. I became that, and then later on an agent. But let me tell you something. It was a hot mess around my house. My mom expected me to go to school, become an attorney. And she said, you talk so much, you need to go and help some people, free some people, whatever. And let me tell you something, that's not what I had in my heart. I went down the wrong road. By 23, I buried 3 children and ended up being a single mom with a disabled son. And so I can tell you something, prayer was not something that I wanted to be just this goody two shoe. It was like times where there was no more talking to anybody with any answers. So I prayed to God. I wanted more time with my children and energy just to be a wife, as well as more money. And I did not have to want to worry about money. I didn't know that that's what I was praying for. I just wanted a legacy. I would have never dreamed that these days would have come from myself and my family. And when you start to think about where Robert and I are now, it came from much prayer. But I wanted financial freedom without my family being totally broken down. And so when you talk about 25 years later of experience in building wealth, certified life and results coach, we earned our first million in 2009. When you begin to think about it, 8 figures in my current business, as well as I am the founder of the Pink Millionaire Club and the Nicola Smith Jackson Foundation. Hosting Power Start Your Day for over 1,000 plus episodes and inducted into the $1 Million Hall of Fame. But how did I do it? I was intentional with building my mindset. I was intentional. I did not waste time. And so it became where, it was an obsession for me to share with others how they can do it too. Because the mindset of sufficiency and abundance and things, it all starts in the mind. That's where you really live. Most people think that they live on their street in their city. No, you live in your mind. And when you begin to develop your self-worth, increase that financial IQ and that money mindset through mentorship, there's nothing that you can't do. Through all of that in my journey, I realized I'm a systems-minded person. And there's no way if somebody say, well, how do you do it? I'm going to be like, no. I began to track how I did it and develop the Money Mansion, this financial ascension system with power moves. These are things that God inclined, biblical principles where you can build an empire. And so it is how I built my wealth and generated income, but not just from the hard grind, because I realized there's still only 24 hours in a day. It was through more leverage than labor. And in case you want to know what leverage is, it's just doing more with less, doing more with less time, doing more with less money, with less effort. And so obviously you got to get to learn about that and learn about collaboration. And you got to put your money to work. I begin to understand the importance of income generation. You want long money? You have to put your money in places where it can generate more money. Billionaires generate to invest. They don't generate just to consume. And they go with 7 diverse tax-friendly streams of income. But the Bible told us that. Ecclesiastes 11:1-2 says, ship your grain across the sea. After many days, you may receive a return. Invest in 7 ventures, yea, 8. You do not know when a disaster may come upon the land. We know what we're experiencing right now, right? Disaster. But people who understood what to do with the resources. Listen, King Solomon was a long time ago when he literally was just obedient to the Holy Spirit, just like right now. I'm being obedient to the Holy Spirit. I'm not saying that people are going to write about me. I'm just saying that I want to just hear God one day say, well done, thy good and faithful servant. And I had a lot of questions of why would we need 7 streams of income? I realized that one stream of income is a setup for disaster. Most people are funding all areas of their life with one stream of income, and they're wondering why they're broke. When you think about the emergency fund, a debt fund, an income protection fund, final expense, why do every generation have to start off like the one before? Because we didn't have income replacement, personal and professional growth. We can't invest more in brands than we invest in building our own brand. Investment funds and our legacy fund. We got to know that your life needs to make an etch in this world. You can do it. It's not only for the wealthy, but we got to know what budgeting and allocation is. Now I'm going to create like a little term sheet where you'll be able to go back and you're going to learn. We're going to have in a Power Moves Tribe, we're going to be teaching these things every day. So if you're not a part of our Power Moves Tribe, you want to be a part of it. And I can remember seeing this 50, 30, 20 formula that people said, this is how you begin to become rich. I'm going to talk more about that in money management, but there's some challenges to that if you don't know the whole thing. So I created the 70-10-10-10 budgeting rule. Now, literally with the 70-10-10-10, you got 70% that's really going into your living expenses and building savings with interest, your emergency fund, and income protection. Now, and all of that is your shopping and your education, everything in there. But then now you got 30% that goes into tithing, giving back into the lives of others. Sow seed on fertile ground. Sow what you want to grow. And then now you have an additional 10% outside of savings that is going into automatic, into investments, into assets. And then you want to invest in yourself and personal growth. Many people invest in themselves last and wonder why they continue to be last on the totem pole. You want to be clear that income generation assets are things that create more money. Even if something is expensive or they appreciate in value, like an antique car, it's not creating cash flow. It's not an income generating asset. So if you're going to invest in things like that, it's after you got the full financial house in order. Then I began to really understand the rule of the money game. And it's really knowing how quick can money compound or double. I want you to think about that for a moment. Go to your bank statement and look at how many different directions did the money that you had coming in, your income, how many of those dollars actually went somewhere where you knew exactly when it was going to be coming back. So the rule of 72 was something that I learned when I went to, insurance school. And I began to understand and say, wait a minute, many people are not really protecting their money, but they don't even understand a lot of ways how you can use insurance. The bottom line is you need some compounding on it. If it doesn't, it's either going to die. What am I talking about? Your money. And so the rule of 72 is simple. Whatever the amount of money is, you multiply it times the amount of interest that you're going to bear on the money, not pay, and that'll tell you how quickly the money is going to double. So if you're getting a 3% interest rate, like you might go to the bank and get a money market account, or you might be looking at, you might be saying, okay, well, I have some mutual funds or whatever. You're looking at that 3% and you divide that into 72. It might take 24 years before that money doubles. No, you need higher interest rates on your money so it can double faster. And so that means you got to know where to put that. It may not be in direct or in individual stocks. You got to think about cash flowing assets, real estate investments. People are always going to need somewhere to live. Real estate investment trusts. These are times how you're able to own real estate without having to hold the asset. You start thinking about infinite banking. This is how the Rothschilds have built wealth, and every dollar comes back to them. You need your money going in a cycle back to you. Royalties on licensing, creating things that you can license to others and they pay. I know Pink Millionaire Club is going to be something licensed one day. Precious metals, cryptocurrency, things that create money, but sometimes there's risks. There's always going to be a risk, but you want to own a reward, so you got to take risk. Stocks, bonds, Forex, and index funds, residual income, and whether we talk about traditional business. Now, this is where we're going to stop, because a lot of these other things people put in the cart before the horse. You want to be able to understand business really before you understand all the other income generating assets. Most people have never really understood the businesses behind business, so they put money in places and lose them. So traditional business, whether it's active or passive, is where it's at right now. Sure, if you have a job, you need a side gig. The gig economy is growing tremendously. You don't want to miss out, because you will if you don't figure out how to get in a business. So businesses are the lowest hanging fruit for entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurship is going to turn the economy around. It's going to create jobs. Look at what it's already been doing. Home-based businesses is 52% of the job share of the economy, of businesses. Franchises, 2%, but sole proprietorships, 73%. And look at non-employer businesses without employees. so you can do it. I don't want you to be afraid about business, because if you're afraid about business, you're going to miss out on this next wave. We had the information age. You have all these different ages, but entrepreneurship, we are going into the entrepreneurship age. Thank God I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, so I can recognize what direction it's going to be, where we're going. And so here's a few reasons why you need to start a business. If you're running out of time, you need a business. If the environment that you're going in every day just to earn dollars is very disturbing to you, you need a business. If you want to write your own check, meaning that you keep going from paycheck to paycheck, you need a business. And so there are so many businesses that are thriving during COVID. When you start to look here, take a snapshot from life coaching, online sales. You got flexible things like Amazon Flex and graphic designing and things like that. You got, network marketing, home improvement, all these types of businesses. And we have multiple of these businesses, so we know that they're thriving. But you've got to not just start a business. I see so many people maybe pay their fare to start a business and they never become a builder. What you need to know is that just check your options out. Don't just chase every dollar. Use and follow systems and invest more into your business than your lifestyle. You need to not keep thinking about what it looks like. Think about what it is and look for ways to protect, leverage, and scale. Most people never protect what they build. 27.9 million people have no insurance or income protection. So if they lose their income unexpectedly, they're looking for a job. No, we're going to start businesses. And what you have to begin to know how to do is also how to leverage other people's money. We want to talk to you quickly about building business credit. Sole proprietors never look at this. If I didn't have other ways of which I knew, okay, hey, my infinite banking, you'll learn more about that at our Power Money Conference. You'll learn more about that on how I borrow for one of my policies, but I am actually borrowing the money from the insurance company and I purchase different things and the money comes back to me. But you have to begin to understand that when you use other people's money, it gives your business the ability to scale. Sometimes you need marketing dollars, you need things. You can't even expand your business because you're not qualified for financing or other levels of insurance or even credit cards or even government contracts. You're missing out on opportunities just because we don't understand the benefits of business credit, where you get better rates, better trade terms when you're leasing and financing buildings or what have you, even though you might say, oh, we're not going back into buildings. Are you serious? God is not making any more land. At some point in time, just like everything else that's low, whether it's the stock, what have you buy low, real estate, commercial real estate is going to be low right now in many cities. And then now when we grow again, you will not be the ones owning anything if we don't have liquid cash and credit. And also when you build business credit, you may not even have to use your personal credit. Now, when you start thinking about the 3 credit bureaus that report to business, right, is you got Equifax for Business, Paydex, Experian, as well as Dun & Bradstreet. Now, we know that Experian and Equifax and Dun & Bradstreet are the 3 most popular, but some, companies may require you a Paydex score. So you want to set a foundation. We're going to be talking more about this in the Power Moves Tribe. You're going to learn a lot more because I said, hey, I know there's so many people in business, but they don't understand business at all. So it seems so tough and frustrating. So you want to establish your business presence, your website or your physical commercial address. You got to establish a cell phone or landline. Do not use your personal number for the business side of how you're listed. Obtain whatever corporations or business license or tax EIN numbers. This is the tax codes that will now position you as a business owner. Now establish a checking and a savings account as well as the Dun & Bradstreet profile and the number and join the Dun & Bradstreet credit system program. Now, this is going to help suppliers and creditors make a more informed decision to say, well, we trust you with our money. Now, once you do that, you want to apply for 3 accounts, 3 Net 30 accounts. These are beginner business accounts to start getting your feet wet. But do this only after your Dun & Bradstreet profile is completed, as well as you got to make sure everything is matching on all things. Sometimes you might have your business name as XYZ Incorporated, INC, but then somewhere else is XYZ LLC. Those are two separate business entries. It may cause an issue. After you do these steps, put about $1,000 in a business savings account and let it season for 45 days. That means let it sit there. Then take out a signature loan and use the savings as a collateral and make payments. But you've seen this in personal credit. It would be considered like a secured loan. These are things that can build the credit. So we got a business startup checklist for you, and it's going to be available, as a resource guide. But you got to choose the model you want to be in, choose your business name, get the tax ID, choose what entity it is, get with your CPA and ask them about that. Don't be too cheap and only want to go to tax preparers that may not know what your ending goal is. Get the checking and savings account appropriate for your goals. Choose the web URL domain, like we said, get a landing page and website so you can have a presence. Start building the business credit and create an online and social media strategy. Develop the marketing strategy. Take time. You're winging it. Wealth is not for people who want to wing it. It's for planners. It's for people who are persistent. It's for people who take it serious. Get your budget and identify your funding. If you're using all of your money you're pulling from your home to build your business, you're gonna run out. You're gonna be so anxious, so hungry, where you can't even serve people properly because you're so thirsty only about what you're getting because you're running out of money. Let's build our foundations and then get the secure trademarks as needed and get mentorship. It's the fastest path to mastery. We've invested in so much mentorship, and it will build your mental muscle, reduce fear, get a seasoned perspective, and leverage their network as well as course correction. I've had my mentors and my trainers in my life, and I share them with people. But when you have your mentors be able to say to you, listen, powerhouse, I'm letting you know that I'm invited to speak at many of my mentor stages, and they're now friends like Ray Higdon. You'll hear from him. I mean, this is one of my boo's. Oh my gosh, Danielle, we've been together for like over a decade, and now she is literally using my Pink Print system, and she's now personal development. She's no longer fearful even in her business. She has the right insurance policy. She's investing in stocks. She got the infinite banking system. She is well on her way to all of what we're talking about. Yesenia, when you start talking about her, like literally, she's dreaming again, and she's, working toward her dreams. And now she's paying bills on time. And when you start to look at Danikia, here she is super excited, and she is on a whole nother level mentally, now buying multiple properties, stocks, but all sorts of things. And I need you to know something. This is for you to understand. Wealth on another level can't just stop with this information. Many people put their pinky toe in, but they want a pinky toe in the water, but they want the whole ocean out of an opportunity. It doesn't work like that. Put a lot of thought, a lot of heart and soul into what we're doing. And I want you to do the same thing. If you haven't already, go ahead and get in the chat. Ask us some questions, click the Q&A button. I want you to engage. I need you to get the juices flowing right now because I know your head is spinning. It's a lot of information, but don't worry, we'll be together. We're gonna have continuation training. However, the juices flowing is good. Maximize this moment called the Kairos moment where heaven and earth are standing still, and get educated, get empowered, and get moving. Thank you so much. This is your foundation to your first million. Dame Nicola Smith Jackson here.